So our next session is the Sustainability Showcase. So we had over 40 expressions of interest for this session, and it is really a rapid-fire TED Talk style opportunity for people to showcase an additional sustainability project. It is ambitious in our agenda. Unfortunately, I do have to say that we have we've had three of our TED Talkers, if you like, who are unavailable today. So we actually only have two. They are going to still stick to their 10 minutes, please. So we won't have questions. We're doing this rapid fire. And like I said, it's really an opportunity for them to jump up and have a chat. So the first of our TED Talkers, if you like, is going to look at traceability in the beef supply chain. And I'm going to ask Ebony Greaves and Carly Davis from Oak Consulting to come up. Oak Consult advises on climate risk, regenerative agriculture and traceability. And I'd like to invite both of you up if you would like. Thank you. If you could welcome our TED Talkers, guys.
Oh, I just missed the stairs altogether. Rule breaker. Green button. Okay, so the green button to go forward. Excellent. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for having us. I realise it's the end of the day. It's been a very long day. Jacob, thank you for highlighting that we had the graveyard shift today. No pressure. So really excited to be here and talk you through the beef sustainability traceability pilot. Oak Consulting is a rural agricultural climate and sustainability consultancy. We have three arms to our business, so sustainable agriculture, natural capital and agri-renewables. On the stage here today, you've already introduced us, so you've got myself, Ebony, the Chief Executive, and my wonderful business partner here, Carly, our Chief Sustainability Officer. We're a pretty small team. We've been around for about a year and a half, so still a relatively new business in the ag consulting world. But we are growing really quickly, so there's officially 7 of us on the team now, with an extended team of about 17 in total. So growing really quickly, really excited to be here and talk you through this pilot. Oh, there we go. Okay, so the Beef Sustainability Traceability Pilot is a collaboration between 13 industry partners. You probably will recognise a lot of the logos up on the screen here, and in fact we've got a couple of our partners in the room here today, so Meat and Livestock Australia in particular. We've also got Dave from Food Agility, a couple of crew from the Food Agility team, and big call out for Neil from Agriculture Victoria, who's also a very big supporter of this project. So I think I've written down actually, what we've been doing through the day is, as everybody has been speaking and really kind of setting the context around what the challenges are across the agriculture industry, I've captured a whole bunch of quotes because this is a really good opportunity for us to actually demonstrate how the solution that we're in the process of developing right now actually tries to fix a lot of those industry challenges. So Melindy, I'll quote you first. You mentioned in your talk around the benefit in the agriculture industry when there is collaboration, genuine collaboration between industry and government. So I just wanted to call out, we obviously have a really diverse consortium of partners involved in this pilot project. We don't actually have, we do have one government logo on there, Mid Coast Council, but wanted to do a special call out for AgVic there as well. I'll hand over to Carly to talk us through a little bit more about the challenges.
Great, thank you, Eb. So Oak facilitated 13 workshops with farmers, our consortium partners that you saw on the previous slide, and also representatives from over 30 different organisations. And we unearthed 4 significant challenges that farmers were facing in regards to sustainability reporting. Firstly, we've got some pretty fragmented data systems. Farmers are confused on what they should be reporting on and also how to measure and frequency. We're also seeing rising compliance and regulations, both domestically with things like the mandatory climate reporting, but also internationally with things like the European Union deforestation regulation. And we've heard it from multiple people on stage today that farmers are increasingly being asked for data from their downstream supply chain partners. Thirdly, we're seeing that cost is prohibitive to sustainability reporting and also resourcing constraints. So, farmers are often pretty time poor. So we saw that there needs to be a solution that is very much automated and streamlined and simple and easy to use, not a burden. And then finally, something we've talked about as well today is that there's low trust, and farmers basically want sovereignty and security over their data. It's really, really important. And farmers need to be rewarded, either financially or having product premiums or access to new markets for supplying their data. And we're not seeing enough of that. They're not being rewarded for their data. And I guess we've had conversations about how they could be rewarded. We have Acmea Farm Insurance as one of the consortium partners. We've had discussions about potentially providing lower premiums for their customers if they provide sustainability credentials. We've also had conversations with banks and financial institutions who have expressed interest in potentially refinancing mortgages into green bonds for farmers to supply sustainability credentials. So we're really seeing that there's a need in the market for a secure, streamlined, credible solution that allows farmers to not only report on their data, but also share their data with the supply chain. And I'll now pass to Eb, who's going to talk a little bit more about the solution and the pilot.
Thank you, Carly. Reminder to go to the next screen. Awesome. Okay, so the beef sustainability traceability pilot is broken into 4 core components. You'll see the logo up on the screen now. So our main partner and pilot farm for this project is Macca's Pastoral, or Macca's Australian Black Angus Beef. Probably a lot of the people in this room will be very familiar with Macca. Very forward-thinking, climate-resilient farmer. So really great to be working with the Macca's team. So 4 components. The first part of it is a farm sustainability reporting framework, which is an extension of the Australian Beef Sustainability Reporting Framework. So a little bit of context around that. Late last year, we started working with the Macca's team around how they could better articulate and communicate the sustainability work that had been happening on their farm around emissions reduction and carbon sequestration in soils and things like that. They were doing all this incredible work, but they had no way to communicate and nothing to kind of tie all of that together. So what we built for the Macca's team was an extension of the beef sustainability framework. So we took all of the incredible industry level indicators, but we very quickly realised, and I say this, in the context of why we're here today as well with the AASF. It's all well and good to have these, really robust, incredible indicators at the kind of industry level, but what does that actually mean for the producers? What do they do with it? Do they pick that up and do they know immediately how they can report on sustainability across their farm? The answer to that was no. So that's how the framework evolved. And then very quickly what we realised in working with Macca and the Meat and Livestock Australia team was that framework, the extension of the ABSF, was really valuable at scale across all of beef producers in Australia. So that framework is really the foundation of this entire pilot, and all of the other bits and pieces are bolted into that framework. So what we're doing is we've partnered with Informed 365. They're a very mature tech ESG modern slavery reporting platform. We're building a new solution within their existing platform that houses that beef sustainability reporting framework. It's a fully integrated platform. This is the end state that we're looking to get to. So it's a fully integrated platform. It will bring data in from lots of different technology systems and data systems. So the way that we think about this is that it's technology agnostic and data agnostic. What we're building is a central API marketplace that pulls in lots of sustainability related data from lots of different systems, brings it into a single consolidated view so that the farmer has a really good understanding of what's going on their farm. Really important part of this is the predictive analytics and AI that would be built into the platform as well. So that capability will enable us to, look at trends and things in the data and things that are happening on the farm, and potentially we could provide suggestions and recommendations. Sky's the limit in terms of what those kind of suggestions and recommendations could be. But I might use the example of emissions reporting, for example. So, the system might detect trends over 3 years of actually your emissions are trending upwards. Here's some suggestions, practical, tangible suggestions of how you could look to start to bring those emissions back down again. So there's a couple of logos that you can see on the screen there around the integrated platform. What's really cool is we're getting so much interest right now from right across the agriculture industry and so many ag tech innovators to potentially integrate with this system down the track. So that's been really cool. The third component to what we're building is blockchain traceability and GS1 powered QR codes. So we heard a little bit earlier from Dave from Food Agility. The platform that we're building, one part of it is the digital passports, the livestock passports. So the system is fully compliant with AATP and it integrates with the AgTrace system. The QR codes are housed within GS1 and they provide the full traceability from the life of the animal through to wherever they might end up on somebody's plate. Now, the last part of that is the farm sustainability reporting dashboard. So this is where we bring all that data together to present a consistent view of what's happening on that farm around sustainability across 4 key sustainability pillars. So within that framework, there's roughly, at the moment, somewhere between 60 to 70 sustainability metrics. What we're seeing on the screen here is a very, very, very early stage concept design. I won't stress early enough. This is very early. So what you can see on the screen here are the 4 beef sustainability pillars. So you've got animal welfare, economic resilience, environmental stewardship, and people and community. And then underneath that, there's a whole bunch of farm-level sustainability metrics that the producer can report on and set their own goals over time as well. Within the dashboard, and I will say, so the dashboard is split up into 2. You've got the farm-level sustainability dashboard, but you've also got the product-level sustainability dashboard. So you'll have the traceability data associated with both of those dashboards at the farm level and also at the product level. You can see down the bottom on the right-hand side, we've got the on-farm sustainability certifications and claims, credentials, if you will, as we were talking about a little bit earlier. And so the producers will have the ability to input into the system what claims and certifications or credentials they are making. They'll have the ability to download those claims and credentials and forward them on to whomever in their supply chain they might need to forward them on to. So, for example, if you think about EUDR, there might be scenarios where they need to provide specific claims to supply chain partners. But an important call out here is that those claims and certifications around environment and sustainability are actually housed within the QR codes as well. So within that QR code, it'll tell a really nicely designed and curated sustainability story about that farm and the life of the animals on that farm. Producers will have the ability to export public-facing sustainability reports or farm impact reports. That will all happen automatically for them so that, we're cutting ourselves out of a job as farm consultants. And that's the intention. We want this to be automated. We want it to be accessible and cheap and really easy for farmers to use. Anything I've forgotten here?
No, and we're
Cool.
going way
Sorry.
over.
Sorry, Angela.
So I'll take us through the last few slides. So the 12-month pilot is segmented into 5 phases. The design phase, we did the 13 workshops that I briefly mentioned earlier, and we designed what the dashboard and the platform was going to look like. We're now partway through the build and configuration stage. So we are, as Ed mentioned, a local organisation called Inform 365 is building the platform for us. We've also partnered with CH4 Global to start feeding the Asparagopsis to the livestock that is part of this pilot.
And we have about 300 300 cattle going through the pilot as well, by the way.
Yes, that's to inhibit methane, which is exciting. We'll be then moving into the processing of the cattle, so there's 2 different consignments in February and March next year, and then that beef will be distributed to 5 different countries: Australia, Switzerland, Dubai, Mexico and Singapore. We'll then move into pilot optimisation, which is just getting feedback basically from the users and the people that have been involved in the pilot to create a new iteration. And then finally, we'll be producing a case study and recommendations for a path forward.
Before you go on to the next part, Dave said a quote a little bit earlier that really resonated with me, which was, "We can't let perfection be the enemy of good." And I really liked that because this is very much a case study. It's a pilot case study of what is possible and what is feasible. So.
Totally, good call out. And then I guess the roadmap ahead is we're completing the pilot in June 2026, and that's just with one farm, and that's Macca's, and then we'll be rolling it hopefully out to the whole of beef industry throughout next year and 2027. And then finally, we sort of recognise the importance of standardisation and consistency across ag sectors, so we'll be looking to move into other agricultural commodities after beef. Our emails are on the screen behind. If you want to get in touch with us, we'd love to hear from you. And also there's a QR code that you can scan that takes you to our website, and there's more information about the pilot project on our website. So thank you so much for having us. Appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, so one of the things I didn't say at the beginning is with our TED Talks, there's no questions. It's just get up, present, move on. You have the opportunity to hunt them down if you're staying for Sundowners. Ebony, Carly, that was awesome. Well done, both of you. Really, really fascinating. Thank you so much. And yes, you do. All right, so our final formal speaker for today, I guess, before we move into the ending session, is Ian McConnell from Bush Heritage Australia, and Ian's going to be talking about measuring nature on farm. So Ian is the Executive Manager of Agriculture and Natural Capital of BHA, and also the immediate past President of the Global Roundtable for Sustainable Beef. At BHA, Ian leads the organisation's engagement in nature-positive agriculture and efforts to value and integrate natural capital into land management and conservation practices. Come up on stage, Ian, and you can start talking.
Right, let's see if we can get you out of here on time. Anyway, hands up if you know who Bush Heritage is. Oh, a lot of you. I've spoken to a lot of ag rooms and not many people do, which is exciting. So, first of all, we're known as a conservancy organisation. 45 reserves, about 1.6 million hectares under management around Australia. So we operate as a neighbour and a landholder in agricultural contexts. And we're very proud of that, being a landholder and a responsible neighbour in those landscapes, bringing forward a different approach to the role of conservation in ag landscapes. What my work though is it says an emerging focus, but I've been there 12 months, so I'm trying to get rid of that circle and tag, is how we work in natural capital and agriculture. So we do natural capital on reserves, carbon projects, biodiversity offsets, etc. But now we have begun to work in agriculture. And that's for 2 reasons. Firstly, to scale the impact of our reserves, to work with our neighbours, and there's a lot of metaphors we use, a rock in a pond, an anchor in a landscape. How do we actually help those reserves not feel edge effect, help the animals and critters that exist on those reserves be safe crossing imaginary lines on maps, but also play a responsible role in supporting the agriculture around us by controlling pests, weeds, hydrology. We have an RFDS strip on all of our remote reserves to help community play that active role as well. But we also play a role in fee-for-service work in agriculture around helping measure nature. And we do that because as an environmental NGO, a not-for-profit, we understand there isn't really a difference between nature and agriculture in Australia. Australian ag landscapes are Australia's landscapes for most of the part. So how do we recognise and support the role of nature on agricultural land, and vice versa? And uniquely, we have a lot of expertise. We have around 180 staff. Over half of those are ecologists on the ground, helping understand what are the natural systems that exist on our reserves and in the priority landscapes in which we operate. And you, as agriculture, have some really, really important things that need protecting. Both in productive landscapes and in the parts of the farms that aren't productive, there are things that need to be protected, enhanced, and communicated, that they are part of your asset base and that you add that service to the global ecological service that we need. And it's in this blending of nature and production where we start to play a role. How do we help you understand what it is you have that's really important? And how do we help you do that in a way that's rigorous, that's based in very robust science, that helps you access capital? I found today it was interesting on the driver's slide, there was no access to capital. I can tell you every partner of ours, the reason they're doing this is access to capital, not yet consumers. And in my 10 years as global lead of agriculture at WWF, we started thinking it was going to be consumers. It was by far and away investors that drove this work. And we've found some really cool things. We've done Australia's largest accounting for nature account. We've done Northern Territory's first and still only accounting for nature account. And we've found some really cool things. That little fella up there, the Central Australian rock rat, it's been thought to be extinct twice in the last 25 years. I've now been told, I won't tell you which corporate it is, but someone at head office has got the nickname rock rat because they're really important but rarely seen. And these things exist on the agricultural land as much as they do our reserve next door. So how do we play a role in helping them monitor it, value it, protect it? We created posters for the lunchroom of that corporate. That was Hewitt, and you can guess which Hewitt brother it was. And we created posters in their lunchrooms that said, this is what you might see. This is what we've found. This is what we want you to look out for. We're now getting citizen science back that helps us understand these things aren't as rare as we thought they are. We're just not out there enough to see them. We understand the value of conservation on the productive land. To do this, though, we've had to create methods. We've had to create ways of doing things at scale. We've started to use technology and blend it with the need to have boots on the ground to understand ecology. So we've developed some drone methodologies, NV10 in particular, for accounting for nature. We're writing a method that will look very similar for the nature repair market that allows us to measure nature at scale, which starts to become really important for supply chains, for corporates, and starts to blend with the need for access to capital, especially in corporate ag. And we do this, though, blending it with boots on the ground. We all want to find this really great spatial measure of how we measure nature on farm. Nature is so context specific and so practice specific that there will always need to be, to make it rigorous, and to give farmer the insight to act, there'll have to be some level of on-ground verification. That's a challenge. I'd love to move away from that. I tried that for decades. We do need to be able to, if we're going to support the farmer to protect it, rather than just say we have some idea, we need to be able to get on the ground. And we've been doing that. This is our Urarti Reserve over in WA. One of the things natural capital has allowed us to do is start to move into this acquisition space. Weirdly, I think most of our partners now are ag investors that are now doing the same thing, and revegetate large swathes of landscape that's been heavily degraded, or plays a vital role in reconnecting landscapes, places like the Gondwana Link in southern WA, the Midwest in Western Australia. So we stand ready to support agriculture, and it's a unique experience working in a not-for-profit that has nothing to do with advocacy. We stand here as a landholder, as an advisor, to help agriculture understand the value of nature, to help you communicate it, and to help be informed on the practices that we undertake that support nature, reverse biodiversity loss, and give us a future where we're protecting 30% of Australia by 2030. But a lot of that will be recognised, funded and rewarded for the work that farming does. It doesn't just mean national parks. So to our partners, a big thank you, and I will be here for a few more minutes.
Thanks, Ian. Terrific presentation on what can happen when, I guess, you look at extending conservation values into pastoralists' domain as well, and it's a nice combination bringing those pastoralists into the process. All right, so that was our last TED Talk style for today. Like I mentioned, we had some pull out. Unfortunately, they couldn't join us. Various issues, particularly illness, which seems to get everybody with these conferences now since COVID. Everybody drops like a fly, but you can't do much about that. So I'm going to wrap up and we'll sort of finish up in the next little bit. So what I just wanted to reflect on as we come to the end of today's exchange is firstly, I would like to say thank you to our speakers and our panellist chairs, and also each and every one of you that has come here today. You've really been very generous in your time and your insights and the conversations. I know you've been very generous in your conversations because it's been hard work getting you back into your seats occasionally. But somebody said that is because they've been enjoying the conversations so much, and that is why we bring you all together in these types of forums. What has come through clearly is that agriculture, sustainability in agriculture it's really not a single project or an initiative. It's the sum of many efforts, and those efforts can be on farm, in supply chains, in boardrooms, and also in governments. The challenge and the opportunity is for us to connect these efforts, though, and by connecting them, we can be more efficient, more productive. We can reduce duplication. It also means that the evidence that we then present to the world is trusted and reflects the strengths of Australian agriculture. The AASF has given us the foundation, and the conversations we've had today really show just how much of an appetite there is to build on that foundation together. The future proposed, ASA Alliance is an opportunity to take that forward, and as a coordinating platform, a place for collaboration, and a vehicle for Australia to speak with one voice in sustainability. So thank you again for being part of this exchange. I'd like you to take those ideas back with you, what you've heard here today, reach out to the people you've met, reach out to the speakers, make those connections, and really keep contributing towards this national effort, because together we can assure that Australian agriculture not only meets expectations but exceeds them. I would like to just say a few thanks before we wrap up, and I'll hand to Sue. I'd like to thank Emily White at NFF, who ran logistics on the event. She's ran her feet off. It takes a lot of work to put these events together, and Emily, who's sitting very quietly trying to hide up in the back, has gone to a lot of work. Thank you, Emily. I'd also like to thank Chrissy Cairns at NFF as well. She's also been running off her feet, helping to make sure things go smoothly, but also has been responsible for a lot of the visual imagery that you see here and a lot of how we're communicating what we are with you as well. So Chrissy, up the back hiding too. Thank you very much, Chrissy. Now, Emily's asked, because we are sustainable, we'd like you to return your lanyards, please, when you leave, because we will reuse them, because we are sustainable. A couple of just quick housekeeping notes. The presentations will be up on the COP Hub, so if you're not familiar with that, you can log on to the AASF website and you can navigate towards that and join up, and you'll get those presentations on the COP Hub as well. Today's event, we actually had 160 people in the room, which is fantastic. It's the biggest exchange we've had so far. We've been doing this for probably about 3 years now, and every event gets bigger and bigger, so it is really, really fantastic. For those of you who have tickets to the Sundowners event, which is the kick-off for the NFF AgXchange event, please make your way to the Langdon. I think it starts at about 5. You may have time to put your frock on, but it is, I think, smart casual, so don't dress up too much. That's another night. Thank you again, and I would now like to welcome Sue McCluskey, who is the interim CEO and the previous special representative for Australian agriculture, onto the stage to make some concluding remarks. Thank you, Sue.
Thank you, Ange. Look, I'm not going to take too long because I'm aware that I stand between you and a drink. And I think, Ange, you said most of what I was going to say anyway, particularly all the thank yous. But I think everyone knows that I have loved the AASF for all the time I've been involved with it. It has been a journey. I've seen it certainly through the global context and have been really proud to be talking about Australian agriculture globally and being able to refer to the AASF and have people all around the world go, wow, that is a fantastic thing to see. And for me, it's been that overarching articulation of what Australian agriculture is doing around sustainability. I think what we saw in the room today, though, was how it translates into practical initiatives on the ground across different industry sectors, across different partners, across different pathways. And I think we've got to remember there is no one size fits all, and sustainability is really about an outcome, but there are different ways of getting there. And I think the individual industry sustainability frameworks are critical, but we're now starting to see the tools, the calculators, the data, they're really looking forward in terms of how that's going to underpin credentials that really will demonstrate our claims to sustainability, because we can't just keep saying we're sustainable and clean and green. We're going to have to prove it. And so I think what we've seen today is that journey is continuing. There will continue to be some challenges along that journey, but I think all of you in this room are really going to play a critical part in that. The key is the collaboration. So I think the alliance is a fantastic thing because it's actually collectively going to take us forward to the next stage where we're going to look at more data sets, how we're going to report, how that fits under other sustainability requirements that will come to us from different parts of the economy and the sector and the world. But this really sets us up really well. I would like to thank DAF and more broadly the Australian Government, our industry and research partners, of course, who've been on this journey with us. And you did thank Chrissy and Emily. I'd like to thank you. And also Warwick. You know, this exchange has really been because of you making it happen, and I know you've been with us from pretty much the start, so it's been great to be on that journey with you. So thank you, everyone. Let's take this forward because this is a fantastic thing. We should be loud and proud about the AASF and loud and proud about what we do around Australian agricultural sustainability, and it will stand us well going into the future. So thank you, everyone, and hopefully I'll see you all at Sundowners.